Hi, Beanie. How you doing?
I'm tired.
Yeah, little late on this one. Oh, and a little late both in release and timing. I guess it's 8:30 of the night. Beanie's got to go to bed soon, so it
my bedtime.
might be a quick one.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll get into it.
I only have 2 pages.
I have 4. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Scurvivor series. I am your host, Ryan Knightsey. With me, as always, the beautiful, the talented Jessie Dubiowski. Jessie, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Da-ba-dee, da-ba-da.
Da-ba-dee.
Little loopy.
I'm a little loopy. My brain is
loopy.
spaghetti.
My brain is rigatoni. Penne.
I'm sorry, your brain is what?
This is my impression of Forrest Gump. Penne. This is my impression of Forrest Gump ordering food at an Italian restaurant. Penne.
I was going
so good.
I was going for rigatoni, but that was better.
That's so funny. I'm the funniest person alive.
You are.
Oh
wow.
My god, that's so funny. That's so dumb.
That is so funny. That is funny.
Man. I don't know.
That is so funny.
I'm so glad I made up that joke. That's how funny I am.
That is so funny.
Thanks.
No problem.
Survivor, season 46. We're here talking about episode 6, an important episode. We're talking about the merge, or
merge. Everybody merge.
At least the Merge-a-tory episode, or as one person said.
Jeff also said it.
I swear Jeff says Merge-a-tory now.
Yeah, but he said merge. He said merge limbo at the challenge.
Yeah, Survivor is trying to claim it and call it merge limbo when everyone in the community is like Merge-a-tory.
It's Merge-a-tory is way better.
Because it's mandatory, I guess.
No, purgatory.
Yeah, I know it's purgatory, but it's also mandatory.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You can't get out of it.
Okay.
But yes, we're talking about episode 6, the Merge-a-tory, Merge Limbo episode. We would have been doing this episode with friend of the show, Jerry, who was at the beginning of the season. They are not present, but they do have an invite to the recording area. So
maybe if Jerry shows up.
Yes, there's a chance Jerry may pop into this episode. So if they are popping in, we'll get her on audio. But as for right now, it's 8:30 and we got to start recording. So,
yeah.
Jerry, if you're hearing this after the fact, sorry.
Sorry.
So we're talking about.
I gotta wake up at 4 a.m., Jer.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about episode 6, Cancel Christmas. We start off with the post-gem vote at Siga. Mariah basically is the one talking here, which is fine. You know, maybe that's an omen. Maybe that's an omen for Mariah, where she says, that sucked. She sort of says that she was kind of blindsided by the vote, seeing that she was the only person that didn't vote with the rest of the group. Happy she is still here, but wasn't voted because she didn't get any votes for her. So maybe she's like, maybe there's room to grow. And so the theme of this episode is, I guess, Mariah allowing, not allowing, or not properly maintaining for herself room to grow. And I think that's the sort of topic of conversation today. Where did Mariah, spoiler alert, fail?
When she tried to jump.
Might as well jump.
That's one instance of her failing.
I said jump.
I love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We go to Yanu. They're feeling good because they have fire and they were able to restart the fire. And Kenzie says, like, you know, we're right into it. We're moving. We're grooving. It feels like we're on all cylinders now that we have fire.
And food. Fire.
More importantly, fire. A boat comes. We get the news that everyone's got to drop their buffs. I think it's funny to note here that Yanu throws them in the fire. No one wants to keep their buff. They're like, I'm done.
Yeah, I think they're like, nah.
Tiff then reveals
no more memes.
That she's leaving, but she's not forgetting something, and reveals Idolicia, which I think is a little fun pet name for her idol. Siga, they're also excited. Tim says Mariah is at the bottom. Mariah might flip is a concern that he has. Same sort of thing of that room to grow idea.
Yeah.
Nami, Hunter says he's concerned about the merge, and says that one, there's a concern that, Tevin might flip against him, but even though he feels very solid, but everyone might come for him. They have this new kind of +1 alliance, as we discover through this episode, burgeoning. But he's also concerned because he has a burgeoning. He's also concerned because he now has a timer on getting his idol, because his idol he can only retrieve up until the people arrive at the beach.
Is that true? I thought it said after the merge you'd have an opportunity to get it. I think he was worried about somebody finding
it because they've all forgotten about it, maybe?
Not even that. Is like the note. So, okay. If they don't lose before the merge itself triggers the next step.
For him. The key retrieval step.
As soon as he heard it was the merge, he knew that they had placed the thing for the key.
Correct.
So now it's a race between going to find it versus everyone showing up on the island and someone stumbling across it.
Which is certainly plausible.
Yeah.
Because there is at least, a whole tribe, I guess, of Siga and Kenzie and Tiff and maybe Q. I think Q. Like, everyone knows that's how you get the idol, except for Nami. Nami is
but even then you see that little thing, you're like, oh my god, that's an idol.
Yeah.
You're gonna figure it out.
So he looks for his idol, or I should say the key. Then while he's looking for this key, he finds out basically it's underneath the steps up to Nami. While that's happening, there's this weird fight between Soda and Venus. Basically,
yeah, they were arguing over the fact that they don't talk anymore.
Yes, because Venus attempted to strategize, I think, with Soda, talking about like, oh, Hunter's being weird, and Soda seemingly not interested in discussion.
She probably was like, well, you're being weird.
Yeah, and then they fought, which I thought was a very funny bit.
They were definitely, there was bickering happening.
Hunter ultimately finds the key, but then there's more time wasted because Liz, in her one appearance of the episode, starts talking to him, and quite literally.
Her one appearance, yeah.
I mean, she did. I think she might have said something at Tribal Council. I actually don't remember, but I believe this is basically her one appearance in the episode. He then, once he's able to leave her, he bolts to get the idol, and in fact, yes, he succeeds. So now Hunter officially has an idol in post-merge gameplay. So there we go. Good for Hunter.
Good for him.
At the Merge Beach, Kenzie describes Nami's camp as Taj Mahal. Tim doesn't reveal that Mariah was on the outs. He does this on purpose. No one on Nami basically seemingly, or Siga, I should say, they've all sort of decided that they are not going to tell everybody about Mariah being on the bottom of the tribe. We'll get to the point, I guess, Mariah, but is that a good idea for Siga as a whole?
I mean, I would think you don't want them to know where your weaknesses are.
Sure.
You want to, if you are going to go in with this idea that like you're still going to be Siga strong, like you want to be fucking strong.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to give any names, which becomes another theme of the episode. Venus talks to every single non-Nami person to try to start establishing relationships, which is interesting. Tevin, though, however, immediately follows up all of that with basically warning everybody about Venus and how she's kind of the weak person. So Siga doesn't give any names here, but Tevin, basically, as far as we know, the first person to be like, Venus,
yeah,
it's her. Look at Venus.
Yeah, which is like definitely the opposite idea. I mean, but I feel like they kind of knew that people would figure that out anyway.
Yeah. And to be fair here, I think, like, Siga, Mariah is definitely on the bottom in terms of Siga, you know?
Yeah, but they're one big happy family, so it doesn't matter.
But Venus, like, I don't really know if I would say Venus is on the bottom of... I mean, she's definitely on the outs, but she's also a good player, and she's working and stuff, and we've never actually seen what she's able to do. We saw kind of a little bit of that, I guess, this episode.
But if you think of, like, Mariah's on the bottom because, like, you know, She is. Venus, I would say, is on the bottom of Nami, like one person that everyone is willing to vote out.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's fair. I don't know why I feel like...
To me, that doesn't necessarily mean she's a bad player. It just means that
she's on the bottom.
She's on the bottom of her tribe. She is the one person that everyone on that tribe could agree to vote out.
That's a good point. Q tries to build up the +1 alliance, but he's a little worried about Tim and Maria. He talks to Maria at one point.
More so worried about Tim than Maria, let's be clear.
Yeah, because it started with going to Tim. So he checks in with Hunter and basically confirms that, oh yeah, I talked to Tevin, he's in, we're all good. And we get a moment where like Tiff is also interested in this whole thing. So we have this +1 alliance forming already. And he talks to Maria and be like, hey, has Tim talked to you? And she's like, talk to me about what? And he's like, uh-oh, that ain't good. And so he goes, tries to talk to Tim, and I wrote down here that Tim is floundering. He does not really know what to say, and he kind of gives, I think, a crappy response about why he didn't want to tell her.
Yeah, I want her to form her own opinions on, I just didn't tell her. I'll tell her about that today.
I'll tell her by nightfall.
Yeah, by nightfall.
Which he doesn't do, I believe, as far as I can tell. Yeah, what do you think about that lie, I guess, is what Tim is trying to do. Of, I want her, like... I want the thought of I want her to form her own opinions on people.
I think Tim knows that he and Maria are not as close as he had alluded.
Interesting.
And he was hoping that in that time he would have formed a closer relationship with Maria.
Interesting.
But has not.
Okay.
Like, I feel like Tim has the energy of the, like, you know, that kid that you're like, oh, I want to be friends with that kid in, like, middle school. Mm-hmm. And, like, you know, he told everybody they're friends, right? But, like, are they really friends? And that person's like, oh, I don't dislike you. I just didn't realize we were friends, you know? Yeah. Like, that's kind of the energy that's happening.
He doesn't want to ask her out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think there's something to the idea of, like, having Maria, like, you know, form her own agency and, like, interact with these people first and then get, like, maybe that's it. He wants Maria to get a vibe check on all these other 4 people, and then the 2 of them can decide if they're in as a group. You know, maybe that's something. But even then, like, have that conversation first, maybe.
Yeah.
Of like, this is what our plan is. But right now it's like Tim's doing something, and for as far as we can tell, especially not Maria. Maria is like, I'm kind of shocked because he's definitely not my number one. Tim's, as far as we can tell, Tim is not discussing things of his number one, which is I would say, a crappy number one.
And I would say that's a red flag for you.
Yeah, that's rough stuff for sure. But we eventually...
Or should I say, sorry, a red flag for Q.
Funny joke.
Funny joke?
At nightfall...
I was trying to get you to say something.
At nightfall...
You're not dealing with my bullshit.
Venus I'm keeping us moving because I know you want to go to bed. Venus plays hard with Tim and Mariah, trying to get some names. She's pitching this idea of name for a name from Nami to thing, which, to be fair, I understand why Venus is doing this. She doesn't ultimately get anything out of Tim and Mariah, but Venus sort of gets a good, interesting kinship, I guess, kind of maybe one-sided with Mariah. So that's that. But I guess that's, to be fair, important for the rest of the episode. But I can also see why Venus is having a tough time of doing a name for a name as a gimmick here, because they probably know that the weak link on Nami is her.
Yeah.
At this point. So it's kind of like, you can't really do anything, Venus, because everyone kind of knows it's you.
You are the weakest link.
We don't get any idea of what who she thinks the weak link is. I don't think she ever mentions, like, the name for the name aspect. Like, I don't think we ever hear her give a name. But I would be intrigued about who.
Like, would she say Tevin because Tevin is like the mastermind, or would she say like Soda because I don't know.
I think she would probably give who the strongest player is of who we should vote out.
Yeah,
based
I
on
think
her,
she would give Tevin because she dislikes Tevin.
or even Hunter. She's mentioned Hunter as like he's
Yeah, but
completely
she's tried multiple
insulated.
times to work with Hunter.
Well, I don't know about work with Hunter, but actively say you're my meat shield. I don't mean that as working, but using.
She's tried multiple times so like.
I don't know what her deal is.
Yeah, but she's doing the same thing again, where she's like making herself a target by just being too aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, at least she doesn't have a machete in her hand this time.
That's true. Well, that wasn't her. That was Jem, to be fair.
Was that Jem?
Yeah, it was Jem.
I thought that was her.
Nah.
I thought she was...
Unless it was a different interaction. But
No,
that was
you're right.
Definitely Jem from last
That
episode.
was Jem. What was Venus's? It was when she went... Oh, she followed Hunter.
Yes.
That was what Venus did.
She was just actively being annoying.
She was just following him around.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with her being actively annoying, Donna.
Yeah. And then she went to like, oh, that was when she went to, what was his name? Randon. And she was like, I don't trust this person. Like immediately.
And Randon was like, all right.
I don't trust you.
And then he pulls out his shoulder.
And then he's like, I don't trust you.
Charlie finds out about this Venus interaction and kind of ensures that the Siga strong thing was maintained. They didn't spill anything. So do you think in this moment, we'll talk about it here, should Mariah have openly worked with Venus? Venus, as we know now, felt open to working with Mariah, so much so that I think part of the reason where she was so hard on voting for Charlie instead of Mariah is because she wanted to work with Mariah. If Mariah was perceptive of this, do you think Mariah should have worked with Venus? Or instead, do you think Mariah should have stayed with Siga Strong?
Like, I don't know how much good either would have done her, but like Siga Strong, like they were throwing her under the bus.
Yeah. They
were going to do that no matter what.
Yeah.
I think she needed... I don't know if Venus is the right person, but if it's your only option other than the tribe that's going to cannibalize you, like basically going to like be like, here.
Yeah.
We'll take one for the team, give you away. I think like... I don't know. I feel like Venus may not be her best option, but if it's her only option other than that, I would say like making any sort of connection outside of her tribe would have been more helpful. Because like her tribe was ready to let her go. I
agree. And Venus is probably, I agree. Venus is probably the weakest link, but hey, it's something else.
Yeah.
Who's to say it would be any better? I mean, Tim.
I mean, like there's some argument to like the fact that like that could have been Venus's turnaround too, is like convincing people to go for Charlie. But they're both coming from behind at that point. Like, one of them doesn't have a leg up in this situation. They're both the underdogs.
Yeah.
They're both the bottom of each of their tribes. So it's not like, she's going to Venus to work with her and Venus is like, it's her or someone else on her tribe. You know what I mean? Like, neither of them is in a position to help the other up a little bit. It's like you could try.
Yeah.
It should have been worth a shot.
Yeah. Ultimately, as we know, Mo never aligns herself with anybody else, just kind of stays with Siga till the very end. Well, maybe not till the very end, but stays with Siga, never attempts to work with anybody else. Doesn't, cuts off her own room to grow. Which
honestly I think is a mistake. Like, I think she should have seen that coming.
She should have at least played the field a little, put herself out, go on a couple dates.
I agree with Q that we'll talk about a little bit later, that she should have, like, admitted to it earlier.
Yeah.
To be like, listen, my tribe was going to be Siga Strong, and, like, the fact that her name was out there had to have been her tribe. And, like... You already know that the cracks are showing, so you might as well split them wide open and be like, listen, here's the deal. Like, I think I agree with Q that she should have done that way earlier.
Because then she becomes a vote on my side, like a Banu-esque vote, where she will become a vote and loyal to me so that she doesn't go home.
Yeah.
And,
Maybe that could have
helped. Maybe that could have helped. Tim, we see this at nightfall. Tim finally talks to Maria about the +1. Maria is down, but she also states that she kind of wants to also do her own thing, which we sort of addressed as, because we're the smartest people that watch Survivor, that would be the case last week. We talked about this last week of like Maria as Tim's +1 is rough stuff because she already has a strong alliance with the girl. Well, maybe not strong anymore with the girls, but Siga, and more importantly, Charlie. She is, she's the leak of the +1 alliance. And she is already kind of stating as such that she's like, I kind of want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Q thinks Siga is too closed book. Tries to find the crack in Siga through Mariah, but can't. But sort of left scared of Mo. So again, just like Venus, we get another interaction with someone else talking to Mariah, which they now dub her Mo, which I think is fun. They can't get anything out of her, and she doesn't seem willing to work with everybody. And so instead, because she didn't work with anybody, she is now picked to be the person that gets voted out.
Yeah. That's rough stuff. Like,
not good.
Yeah, it's really that moment, I feel like, that was her opportunity to just come clean and be like, all right, I'm gonna tell you, and let's not make me the person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, here, I'm gonna give you some info on Siga if you help it not pay me.
Yeah. I don't know. I agree. Do you think Mo working with Q would have been a better option than Venus?
Yes.
Immediate.
Yes.
Why?
Because he actually has some
power, weight,
yeah.
alliances.
Yeah.
And the opposite is he picks her to be the one that they vote out.
Q's like, I feel like Q's response is probably a big part of like the momentum of like when he was responding to her at Tribal. Like, I feel like that when you hear that from Q, you're like, yeah, we're still going the same route.
Yeah.
Like, everybody else in the room is probably like, yeah, we're going the same way we were going before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
We go to the Limbo Challenge. The Limbo Challenge is where they put a pole and then everyone has to go underneath it. And then once everyone goes underneath it, they lower the pole just a little bit, and then they have to go underneath the pole a little bit more, and then they lower the pole, and then they go a little bit more, and then they lower the pole again, and then people are going limbo.
Funny joke.
Penne.
Penne.
Limbo Challenge.
I love you, Penne. That's him talking to his pasta later. It's really good. I love you, Penne. I love this, Penne.
And sir, how was your meal?
I love this, Penne.
Oh, barrel of laughs. Barrel of laughs. The Limbo Challenge, they get split up into two randomly selected groups of 6, with the 13th person having to then be on the outs. The challenge itself is you have to race under a muddy net, push a cart, get some sandbags, make a tower of sandbags, climb up the tower, get some keys, then go down a net, climb another boulder, then 2 players at a time solve a puzzle. The puzzle is broken up into 4 sections, and 2 players do the bottom section, 2 players do right and left, and 2 players do the top section. So a complicated puzzle that everyone is forced to do. What do you think of this challenge?
It's like, okay. I'm trying to... You said it all.
Yeah.
And my brain was trying to picture it.
Well, you picture...
It was muddy, right?
It was muddy.
Yes, okay. I thought it was fine. I mean, it was an interesting thing for it to have a section of the puzzle be like each. You keep looking at your phone, and I'm like, is Jerry texting us?
No, I got a notification for something else.
Okay. Interesting that like everyone had to be on the puzzle.
I like that.
I did like that too. I liked they didn't do the twisty sphincter net.
I hate the poop net. I hate the poop hole net. We talked about it at the time, like seemed like it was such a disadvantage to anyone with long hair, so pretty much just the women. Like it was like weirdly a disadvantage to anyone with long hair. Yeah. And here, like it works fine. Everyone gets a little muddy.
Yeah, I think it was a good change.
Mm-hmm. This challenge sort of leveled the playing field. Like, no, it's hard to have any significant advantage as a person individually, I feel like, in this challenge. I don't know. Like, everyone does the puzzle, everyone's doing the climbing, and everyone's doing all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it wasn't like, Q could just, like, nail every shot.
Or Hunter can one-man army this.
Yeah, like, and the fact that the team without those guys, like, kept up with them for most of it, I think is an indicator that it was. And I wonder if, like, they designed it so that if the teams were uneven, it doesn't matter.
Kind of even across the board. Well, the teams, I can tell you this much, were pretty much uneven. Team 1, which was Orange, Charlie, Soda, Mo, Maria, Venus, and Liz. Team 2, which is Purple, Ben, Q, Hunter, Tevin, Kenzie, Tim. All of the strong boys, BOIS, are on Purple. Hunter, Q, and
what
Tim.
What about the strong women's? She was sitting out.
Yes, Tiff drew the gray rock. And she was sitting out. She was forcibly sitting out. She had to pick which teams she wanted to bet on. She obviously picked Purple. So there was that. But ultimately, Purple wins. So she picked correctly. So Tiff wins as well, meaning that Purple team is immune and and made the merge. They can still vote at Tribal Council, but they are ineligible to be voted on. Orange team also able to vote, but they are the only ones eligible to be voted out. So the people that can be voted out this episode: Charlie, Soda, Mo, Mariah, Venus, and Liz.
Not shocking that they didn't win, but
it was close.
It was close.
You got to give them that. But maybe a close, not necessarily because of their hard work, but because of kind of what we talked about of.
Well, no, but like they did work hard.
Yes, not to take anything away from them.
No, they did work hard, and it was a challenge that, like, a stacked team still didn't really matter.
Yeah.
They all kind of had to just power through.
Yeah. I think they did a good job.
I think they did good.
There was one moment where Soda was having trouble climbing the net, and like she was starting kicking her legs in a way that, like, if you've ever seen like a child in a swimming pool, like when you start being like weightless and you can't, and you're like unsure and your body starts freaking out, and you just start kicking your legs and moving your body, like your arms. Like, yeah. I don't blame her. Sometimes that happens. It happens to everybody at some moments. When you start getting scared.
There was a little bit of flailing, though.
But good on everybody here. We get to camp. The safe people are excited for the feast. At the feast, Ben breaks down the sort of dynamic here, and then it becomes sort of a name for a name of, hey, we got to pick a name for these people. No one from the former Yanu is up for grabs. So it's pretty much a Nami versus Siga thing. Nami people being Soda, Venus, and Liz. Siga people being Mo, Mariah, and Charlie. So it sort of becomes like a conversation at the feast of, all right, who you voting for? Tevin picks Venus, someone he's already been talking about as the person to vote out.
Not a shock. Not a shock at all.
Siga pitches nobody for a very long time until Tim ultimately says, fine, I'll give somebody, and he names Mo, which is kind of ironic because of how the rest of the episode of Tim goes, but Tim pitches Mo. Good idea for his game. I have to assume yes. Between that, Charlie and Maria? Between Mo, Charlie, and Maria?
Yeah, I mean, if you know that they're not going to let you get away with not naming a name, you might as well be the one to name a name.
Is there a reason for him to name the name? Name a name? Give anybody? I mean, obviously they've been on Siga's throats all 2 days or whatever about this, but
there comes a point, I think, where Siga Strong is actually a problem for them. Mm-hmm. And I think when it's that they're
a Siga week.
Yeah, when they are so Siga Strong that they will not budge, it's like people are just going to go after you. Mm-hmm. I think like they already are kind of going after Siga because they want to break him up. I think Tim knows that. I think that like, yeah, I think like just blockading them, like, of like no information leaves this tribe, only makes you a bigger target.
It showcases that you're unwilling to maybe work with other people.
Yeah, so like you got to give a little, because you don't want to be the tribe that like everyone just picks off one by one just because like you won't cooperate, even though they technically have like numbers on their side, but like they're still Yanu. Yanu's not going to want to work with them. Like Yanu is kind of that bridge of like Nami versus Siga.
5 versus 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Yanu's not going to want to work with them
if they're not willing
to. Yeah. So like he's got to give a little bit. I think it was a good move. I think like you want to be a force, but you don't want to be like a force that makes all 6 of you targets.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. I completely agree. Because if all 6 of you are targets, it comes down to, who we just randomly picking based off of vibes, from Siga. Which kind of, and so that's the other thing. Like, we obviously saw that Q ends up being scared of Mo. I'm trying to remember, he tells that to somebody, or 2 people, or someone at camp, right? That he's kind of scared of Mo. I don't remember if Tim was there during that conversation or not. Because there is a chance that he just picks Mo because he knows that, like, or even at the feast potentially, and we didn't see it, that Q is probably bringing up Mo as a potential name for Siga, because of this is my vibe. And so Tim's like, yeah, I'll give you a name. It's Mo,
Yeah.
I didn't totally get that impression, but I wonder.
I don't know.
Tiff is suspecting Siga's strength, so use Mo to basically break down Siga, kind of what we already talked about there. However, even though he pitched Mo, Tim still wants to protect Mo, and so he talks to Charlie about it, about how we need to not make sure that we keep Siga strong. Her name came up; they're gonna vote for her potentially, and we need to keep her. Even though he's the one that said her name.
The irony. The irony.
Hunter wants Mo out.
Isn't it ironic?
Hunter wanting to get Mo out, and everyone's sort of agreeing. We get this sort of general consensus between Yanu and Nami that everyone just is going to vote Mo. So Tiff, and to a certain extent Q as well, but especially Tiff, tells Venus that it is going to be Mo or Venus. Those are the 2 options. Everyone's leaning Mo, but those are the 2 options if something comes up. Venus does not like this, and she pitches Charlie hard. One of the big reasons she states that the reason we should vote out Charlie is because I don't want to vote out another woman. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's been at least mostly women. I believe we had
Jelinski,
Banu, Jess.
Oh, Jelinski, Jess,
Banu.
Oh,
Randon.
Oh,
Banu. And then Jem.
Yeah,
so only 2 women out of 3 men.
Well, she doesn't want like this,
the classic thing of the women getting picked off first. Yeah,
and just because for arbitrary reasons where like she's like Charlie's a bigger threat. Mm-hmm. Why don't we get him out? But,
yeah. And I think that's mostly the reason why she's doing it. I think she is packaging it as a sexist sort of sexist thing
Yeah.
of I don't want women to go
Which
home.
is like fair, but at the same time, like it's not like it's just been, like 4 women in a row.
Yeah.
So like I feel like people kind of saw through a little bit her packaging.
Plus, as we stated before, she wanted to seemingly align herself with Mo, so maybe this was a way to have Mo work with her by potentially keeping her. So she is trying to pitch Charlie as a person that she thinks is a threat, and possibly trying to gain an alliance in Mo by possibly saving her. That's, I think, ultimately what she's trying to do. Like we said. Q is confused why Venus is not voting Mo, because he's like, we're getting someone else out. Why are you... Your name is also on the chopping block. Why are you upset with not you and instead pitching a whole nother name entirely?
Yeah, now is not the time, I think, to be... I don't know. I just... never mind. I was going to say now might not be the time for her to, like, try and make big moves. But at the same time, should always try and make big moves.
Now, you should always try to make big moves, but... And here's the point of argument here.
Or just make moves that are your own.
Yes. Make moves that are your own. How much agency does Venus truly have in this moment? When you have basically 7 other people have basically said it's Mo or Venus, and she's like, no, it's Charlie, and they're like, nah, it's Mo or Venus. And they're basically sticking with Mo. I mean, you get a point where Q comes to everybody and Hunter says, who cares? Like, that felt very much of like, who cares about what Venus thinks? Let's just vote Mo. 7 versus 6. We're the majority.
If she had at least one ally that she could pull in.
In the 7?
In anybody.
Sure. Good point.
If she had at least one ally that she could bring in, and that person, the 2 of them, try to bring in more people, I think she would have some agency. I think she has 0 that we've seen alliances. Yeah. She has 0 people. She is starting from scratch with every person that she's trying to get to convince to, like, vote Charlie. There is no person that she can go to and be like, I really want Charlie. Back me up.
And also
0 people.
And also of those 7 people, Tiff, Q, Hunter, Tevin, and Tim. And I guess you could throw in Kenzie as a loose grouping there. And probably Ben as a loose grouping of Tim. All pretty much aligned with each other.
Yeah.
Like, a bunch of these people are part of the +1 alliance. There's a Siga group in Tim and Ben, and I think they're arguably very close, and I think that's Tim's actual number 1, probably. And then there's Kenzie, who's, Tiff's co-number 1, and also aligned with Q and Yanu, right? So, like, everyone's aligned. Pretty much everybody's on the same page. So I think that's the thing of, like, I think you're right. She doesn't have any agency ultimately because she has no other alliance. But when you have 7 people basically telling you how you gotta vote.
And you have, again, 0 alliances to pull into your own decision. 0 connections.
Yeah.
Not even alliances, just connections.
It's really hard to change that. Because and that's the question. Is Venus right?
Yes.
Would voting out Charlie be a better idea here?
Yes.
Why?
Does it matter? No.
But why would Charlie be a better idea?
Charlie has more pull in this game.
Alliances
He has
Maria.
alliances. It's hard to say that he's super strategic because we haven't seen much from Siga. But from what we've seen, he is more strategic. Like, he's trying to make moves. Mariah
is not.
Is not even, like, on the same page as the rest of her tribe, who is, like, does everything together.
The theme of this episode is her talking about having room to grow, but not taking any advantage of that.
Yeah.
She doesn't make the moves, while Charlie does.
Yeah.
Charlie is one that checks in with Mariah and Tim to make sure that Siga's strength is still a thing.
Yeah.
And arguably he has less power moving into the merge than before, other than Siga's strength and, like, the sub-alliance with Maria, because he's not part of the +1 alliance. But, he's something, so he can make moves. And, yeah, it's a whole thing. There's a whole thing about agency when it comes to these sort of merge-a-tory things of like when you have 7 people telling you this is how you're voting. I think it's
kind of how you're voting.
And I think there's a good point that like if they were instead saying like soda or something, then maybe it's a conversation of soda can whip up votes and stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
We get to tribal. Charlie says that it's about defense when you're in the 6, which I think is a fair point. It's about defense, but even though we saw Venus doing some offense and defense, not only saying that it shouldn't be me, but also saying that it should be Charlie instead, that you guys are making the wrong pick and Mo, that to break up the Siga, it should be Charlie. But he says it's a defensive play. We get a good, solid moment that ultimately matters here in Tribal where Mo finally says that there is not Siga full strength. Siga was not unanimous at the last Tribal. She says that she's on the bottom of that tribe. Voting her out won't change anything for Siga, basically, by saying that. And it's she like was the one that voted wrong.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's like when someone convinces you to take their crappy card in a game when like you can't see what hand they have.
Yes.
And you're like, take this one. Or like, oh man, I really don't want you to take this one.
Yeah.
Oh darn. Oh, and then you take their crappy card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's she. But that's
like, what she's trying to say is like.
But she's the crappy card.
Yeah, no, that's what she's saying. She's saying you're basically taking their crappy card. Nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
You're taking the card they don't want.
Which then becomes a conversation because Q then says, well, then why are you telling us this now? Why did you not tell us this earlier?
Which is a fair point.
Why did Mo not bring this up earlier? Why is she telling it now?
Did she still have faith that her tribe was backing her?
I don't know. I mean, seemingly, right? Because they were telling her Siga's strong and we need to protect her, especially Tim. Even though Tim was the one that threw her name out.
Yeah.
So.
I mean.
I don't know. We get to the votes. Mo uses their shot in the dark. It comes up that they're not safe, so they are eligible to be voted. And boy, howdy, do they get votes. It is a 10-1 vote split, with Mo getting 10 votes and Venus getting 1 vote.
From Mo?
No, from Charlie. Mo could not vote.
Oh, right, she did her shot in the dark.
She did her shot in the dark. The only person that voted for Venus was Charlie, who presumably voted for Venus because he heard his name getting picked probably by Venus, right?
Yeah, out of revenge, out of spite.
Every single other person, including Venus, votes out Mo. Charlie's on the outs of this one.
But maybe on purpose.
Yeah, so why did Charlie not go with the majority? Because surely he knew.
Maybe he thought that they would try and split it in case she played her shot in the dark.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's possible.
And then maybe people were like, nah, we're not worried about it. So they just did it anyway.
Certainly plausible. A shot in the dark, I think that totally makes sense. Which is also, by the way, interesting. Real quickly, and maybe this is a point of why people don't like the shot in the dark. I have no idea. Because a lot of the internet doesn't like the shot in the dark, but I think it's fine. So there's a whole thing that we've seen in the series, seasons that we've watched, which I think is also, by the way, another fun tangent of we've only watched basically the new season, and Jeff has specifically said that basically from 41 on is like a reboot of Survivor. Like, he's like, all the records should basically be rebooted, and you just have to look at this as like a new thing.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, very difficult for a lot of older listeners and fans and viewers of Survivor because they still view it as the old product, and they're like, oh, well, let's make Survivor great again. But anyways, so there's this whole thing that we've noticed of like wanting to be on the proper side of the vote. But at the same time, you also want to protect yourself in case there's a shot in the dark play. So at least one person has to be on the wrong side of the vote.
So you have to convince people to vote differently than the group. And then you're like, well, you could throw me under the bus later, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can't be a full-on blind side, But you also can't probably take it against Charlie and be like...
But people want to do the blind side every time, or they want to do the dog pile every time. It's like...
Yeah,
it's not how this works.
They want to dogpile every time, hoping that the shot in the dark won't go through, or protect yourself and...
Before you wreck yourself.
And vote for the person in case they have a successful one, like Caleb from last season, and then you vote out Venus instead, you know? So it's like, Charlie's on the wrong side of the vote here, but maybe, like you said, fully because we need to be safe in case there's a safe shot in the dark play. Well, there we go. That's the episode. That's the merge. Everyone's officially merged. Mo is out.
No. Mo is no Mo.
Very nice.
Very
nice.
Let's talk
MVPs.
I don't have one, and know that you don't have one either.
I do have one.
I don't. Can I plead the fifth?
No. So when this episode ended, you and I looked at each other, and I said to you, I don't think there's a clear MVP this episode.
You lied to me.
I sat on it and I thought about it.
I sat on it and I thought about it, and you know what I came up with?
Pleading the fifth?
I came up with Bubkiss.
Mean Bubsby?
No, Bubkiss.
You came up and you were holding Bubsby?
I came up with Bubkiss.
I don't really think there's a clear MVP person this episode.
I think there is no MVP.
I
don't think anyone was valuable in this situation.
I came up with one person.
I think...
And only one person.
And if it's Q again, I swear to God.
It's not Q.
Or is it Hunter because he found an idol?
I mean, Hunter did find an idol. That is a good point. He did find an idol.
Is it Hunter because he found an idol?
Hunter and Q are also two people that were on the winning tribe.
I have a pitch, but I want to hear yours first.
Well, we just talked about Hunter and Q let's look at the winning tribe. I guess that's a solid thing of they made themselves immune. Ben, Q, Hunter, Tevin, Kenzie, Tim, and Tiff.
Okay, Ben's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
Tiff also kind of is irrelevant. I was gonna make my pitch.
Mm-hmm. This is not your pick, but your pitch.
Timothy.
Tim. Now, why Tim? He does win the thing, gets the feast, right?
And I think, not incredible gameplay here, but taking advantage of the opportunity to be the one to give up the information. You let it simmer for a bit of like, nah, we're not giving you a name, and then you gotta be like, well, if someone's gotta fall on that sword and get points for it, it shall be me.
Let me get some trust.
Let me get some trust here. This is gonna be my sword, and I shall fall on it.
Well, he's not falling on it. He's throwing Mo on top of that sword, and people are gonna be like, "Yeah, good job, Tim."
Yeah, let me push Mo on this sword right here, and let me get some trust points for it.
I do think that is a potential subtext, because by the letter of the episode, he talks about not wanting to vote out Mo, and we need to protect Mo, right? So I think a subtext.
I think he knew that they were gonna have to throw somebody.
He ultimately decided by voting on Mo, obviously, but I think that's fair. I think he does throw out Mo. It is the weakest link, so it does make sense for him to do that. He also says he wants to protect Mo, and he does fail in that conjecture, but he was able to get rid of someone that ultimately didn't matter for the larger part of the group. Someone who I believe he said in the beginning of the episode. No, I do not have it in front of me, so I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah. Anyone else from that purple team? Tiff, you said no. Ben, you said no. Tevin or Kenzie? Do you think Tevin just kind of said A-OK to the +1 alliance, and Kenzie, I feel like we're kind of just also there this episode.
Yeah, Kenzie was also kind of there.
So then Hunter and Q, back to them. I'll bring up the other people's names. Charlie, Soda, Mo, Mariah, Venus, Liz. Do any of them feel like, even though they were losers, feel like they did a good job? Liz, no. Throw her away.
No. I think I know who I'm going to... I don't think any of them really did anything noteworthy other than, like, not go home.
I will say Maria has herself slightly in a power position. Very lopsided power position, but she's the only one they think coming out of the merge is kind of in between alliances.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
That's true.
Okay, let's pick MVP. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Hunter. Why Tim? We kind of.
I already said that. I literally just went through. This is the problem with men. Okay.
Whoa.
You speak words, they don't listen. They don't input the information. Listen to the words I'm saying. Comprehend them. Think on them. And then respond. Okay? I want you to hear the words. And I want you to comprehend them before you respond. You got all that, honey?
Capiche.
Okay.
I said Hunter. He did get fined an idol. He was on the winning tribe.
Yeah.
And they wanted Mo out, and they got Mo gone. Bog standard. Standard MVP.
And I said Tim.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Minimal other reasons. Okay, let's do these points so I can go to the sleep.
Yes, let's do the points.
I am
You are falling asleep.
Folks. Oh
God.
I apologize for all the yawning. I go to bed at 8:30 when I can.
Yes, you are.
I wake up at 4:00 in the morning.
Wake up at 4:00 in the morning. Got my glasses by my bed, and
I'm definitely snoring. Because plot twist, I'm not actually awake. I lied.
Obviously, Jerry was never able to get on this episode, but maybe we try to have her back next week.
Yeah, we'll try.
We'll see if we can have her back next week to have this conversation, or maybe, Jess, we do a bonus episode.
Bonus? A bonus. We do a bonus episode. I like bonus episode.
And that's where we'll do it. But we'll decide. It is the merge episode. So what we would do at this moment is we would also, after doing the points, obviously, we would have the option. Every team will have the option of dropping a player and picking up someone in the free agent market. There's only one person in the free agent market, and that is Tim. So it's not a lot of people that you can drop, I guess. Maybe that's something we have to work on next year. I don't know. Or next season, I should say. Jerry just texted.
Thought it was her time.
Yes. I did write EST the first time I pitched it.
You did. Okay.
Well, I get it's fine. We'll see. We'll schedule a bonus episode. Let's schedule a bonus of her.
Okay.
If you want to text her about that or something as I explain this. So yeah, this is the moment we do this. We might be able to do this in the bonus episode, or at the very least, if we can get her, if we can get Jerry on at the beginning of next week's episode or something like that, or just as a personal next episode, we will do that like first. Either way, we'll do the team potential reshuffling at a later date, folks. So, as I take a sip of water. So, the teams we have now, Jessie's team, Kenzie, Soda, Tiff, and Ben. Jerry's team, Charlie, Tevin, Maria, and Liz. And my team is Hunter, Venus, Mo, and Q. Mo obviously leaves this episode, but not without giving me some points. So, Jessie, when you are ready, let's talk about these points and see who got the most. I already got 5 points from Hunter being my MVP. I do feel bad sometimes because I've given Hunter and Q a lot of MVPs this season, but they've been really good. So I don't know, guys. That's how I'm feeling. That's how they check off the boxes for me. I would like to see some differences in MVP and good players, but I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. I don't know who to drop anyways for Hunter, Venus, and Q. If I wanted to drop anybody, don't really know. But we'll get to that. I started long enough. Are you ready for the points, baby?
I had it open and then I forgot. Okay.
I thought you wrote them down on your thing. Oh, you're looking up the why?
Men. Sorry, I just really want to do that again. Okay. So, Ryan, you have Q. Q got you a grand total of 18 points. Group award, group immunity, set a curse word, survive the week. You had Hunter. Group award, group immunity, found an idol, survived the week. You had Venus, who...
You didn't say Hunter's points?
23.
23
Plus, can you let me do the +5? You always think I'm not going to give you your bonus point when you got your bonus point. I'll get you a damn bonus point. Just wait a second, chill your buds, and cool your jets. Okay?
Yeah. I apologize.
Men. 28 points.
Thank you. Speaking of bonus points, did you ever go back and look to see if Tiff cursed?
Tiff cursed. I haven't yet.
Okay. Let's keep that on the side. Go ahead.
You got Mariah with 10 points for playing her shot in the dark. And that's it. So your total is 59 points.
You did not say Venus, or at least I don't have her written down.
I said Venus has... Did I not say it?
I don't believe you. I cut her off.
You interrupted.
Yes.
Men. Venus has 3 points for surviving the week.
Oh, useless.
Yeah.
So 59 total.
Yeah. Jerry has Charlie. 3 points, survived the week. Maria, 3 points, survived the week. Liz, 3 points, survived the week. Oof. And Tevin, 18 points, group award, group immunity, got an advantage, and survived the week. Jerry with a grand total of 27 points.
The lowest amount of points she's ever gotten.
Oh, Jer.
You're
doing great, Jer. We love you.
That is rough stuff, gotta say.
Okay. My points.
No.
Ben with 13 points, group award, group immunity, survived the week. That is the new standard points. 13. Kenzie with 18 points for group award, group immunity, said a curse word, survived the week. Tiff with 18 points for group award, group immunity, said a curse word, and survived the week. I can always count on my team to curse on camera. Soda with 3 points for surviving the week, with a total of 52 points.
Did I miss someone? I have Soda at 3, Ben at 10.
No, Ben is 13.
Ben's at 13. That's what I missed. 52.
Yeah.
All right. So
he's trying. Now he thinks I'm always trying to take his bonus points, and he's actively trying to not give me my points.
Anyways,
he ignores me really well. He's a professional.
So, the points to date now are Jerry at the bottom with 220 points.
You got this, Jer.
Jessie in second, which I overtook the lead last episode, and I've stretched that lead out a little bit more. You're in second with 339 points, and I'm in the lead at 343.
Oh, you're only 4 points ahead of me? Pfft.
Yes, I am only...
That's one
much.
Good cry on camera for me.
Yeah, it's not much. I think I overtook you last episode, if I recall, by 1 point. So this is not by much of a margin for me. And by losing a person that, I am now 3 and everyone else is at 4, there's a good chance you'll overtake me next episode. But it will come down to, I guess, how it comes out. I guess things how they shake out. So, yeah, that is it for this week's episode of the Scurvivor series. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Jessie, plug-a-roonies, what do you want people to check out that you've liked from the past week? As my voice cracks at the very end there.
I've been recently an ambassador for these. Not actually. I'm not paid in any way. I just keep talking about them, and everybody asks me about them, and I have so many bullet points on them. There are these pants. They're from Wondery, I think is the title. They're a woman-owned climbing pant brand, and they're awesome. They're like sturdy pants that are somehow a little bit stretchy, but not like stretchy where they're like stretchy. It's like you just don't feel like you're tearing them when you're moving in them. And but they're sturdy enough that sometimes when you get stretchy, quote unquote canvas pants, they tear, you can't repair them because they just the elastic just falls apart. But these are enough canvas so you can just repair them. But also they come in fun colors. And also I don't know if any other woman has this problem. Maybe. I think a lot of women have this problem. Your hips are too big for the pants, so you have pants that fit your hips. They're, and they fit your thighs, but they're too big on your waist, and you have to wear a belt, or you have to have them taken in or whatever. These have cute little contrasting adjustable straps in the back that you just cinch it. And you know what's amazing about these pants? Okay, come here. You know what's amazing about these pants? Also, they have the pockets for days. What's amazing about these pants? You cinch them to your waist, right? So they stay up and you don't have to worry about them. And I've never had to worry about my pants falling down, even with all my tools in my pocket. Okay? You get in your car. You sit in your car. And then you're like, oh, fuck, these pants hurt. Because they're too tight on my waist now. Okay? You don't have to no more. Ladies, no more unbuttoning your high-waisted pants in your car ride home from work, crying about how much your pants hurt because you had to have them stay up all day. You just let out the little nylon strap in the back, okay? And your pants stay buttoned. So then when you get out of your car to pump your gas, your pants aren't unbuttoned and your zipper's not coming down. And you're like, oh, fuck, I forgot to button my pants, okay? I just look them up. They have sales every once in a while. They're kind of pricey, but they have sales, and they're great. And shameless plug. They're not paying me in any way. I just need you to know that. I've just been telling everybody at work about these pants.
I believe what you're talking about are
the Isabel pants, by the way. They're the Isabel 3.0s.
They have other ones. They have these carpenter pants as well.
Haven't tried those yet.
Which they don't look
ironically aren't really carpenter pants because I don't think they have very many pockets. But
no, they have weird things on the thigh.
Yeah.
They also have what were the other ones? Everyday pants, which have an adjustable strap in the front, it looks like.
These were game changing for me at work.
I have to carry. Isabel 3.0s are a little bit more expensive than the everyday pants, but imagine it's only $18 more. But
and they go on sale every once in a while.
Yeah.
But having to carry
ooh, they have shorts.
Ooh.
Isabel 3.0 shorts.
Actually, okay.
This is
legitimately. I hate shorts, so this is a.
And they have the exact same kind of pants that you love in shorts form.
Yeah,
worth a shot.
It's worth a shot.
$65. I would wait for a sale to test something.
Yeah,
that's worth a shot.
But these have been life changing in that I hate wearing belts. They get uncomfortable, and I have to carry a box knife and a Leatherman and Sharpies and a tape measure and all these things that weigh down my pants. And if I'm not wearing a belt, they eventually lose their shape and or they get loose and I'm adjusting my pants all day. No more. And no more unbuttoning my pants on the way home because I have to sit down in high-waisted pants for an hour. It's amazing. Anyway, highly recommend. Cannot recommend them enough.
They are women only.
They are women. They're made for women. So
by women.
Yeah. So I mean, but how many things are? Not many. So we get this, okay? We get this.
If I was a bisexual woman that owned a company, my advertising campaign would be made for women, made by women. And
I think you just do by women, but it's BI.
Yes.
By women for women.
Oh, or if it's May, then we'll do a sort of NSYNC thing where it's made for women, made by women. Is that fun?
Are you saying that because it's gonna be May?
Yeah, exactly.
So then you should do it in April because it's not May yet, but it's gonna be May.
That's a good point. But it's the end of April sale.
End of April sale.
Where it's gonna be May.
Yeah, can't recommend them enough.
Oh,
Ryan.
I gotta do that for something. And it's gonna be May sale. It's the last week of April. We'll have things on sale. That's funny. That's really funny. Maybe I'll do something.
You're
like
welcome.
That. My thing is, I don't really have a thing. But I think that was long enough for a plug, so I think it's worth it. I ultimately, I watched so much wrestling over the past week because it was WrestleMania weekend. I watched 107 wrestling matches between Wednesday and Sunday.
That's a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, it was, shit you not, before WrestleMania Sunday night, 23 hours of wrestling. Of the match times alone, not including the entrances, not including the post-match stuff, not including commercial or intermission breaks of things that, were happening. Of match time alone, 23 hours apparently.
Wow. That's a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, that is a lot. And I loved it. And I'll do it again.
I'm so happy for you.
So I guess watch wrestling. And if you want to listen to a podcast about wrestling, Ring Post Radio. I recommend that. Or we have other more specialized shows on the Count Out Network. Anyways, that is it for us on this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Jessie's going to go promptly to bed. Oh, too prompt. And we will see you all. She's taking a mess. And we will see you all next week.
Good night. Goodbye.
We will see you all next week
Good night.
for
Goodbye.
another episode of
Good night. Goodbye.
Scurvivor series. As we see Jessie in her natural habitat, sleeping like the beautiful bear that she is.
Did you call me a bear?
Oh no! I've awakened the mother! Bye!